Hey there. So, why your vision is so important is what we're going to talk about today. Why is your vision so important? I think you know, but I think it's worth discussing. Would you agree? Well, before I get started, some of you know me, some of you don't, but I am Kanae Quarter, the world's number one financial hypnotherapist specializing in corporate therapy. And one of the things that we talk about in our Path to Prosperity conversation or path to prosperity guide is number one, know your vision. But let me give you all five. Well, there's actually 10, but let me just give you the first five because those are the ones that are going to really drive you to understanding your place in business, in the world, in life. So, know your vision, know yourself, know your pause, know your laws, know your cause. No, they didn't have to rhyme, but I was like, why not? So, know your vision is all about where you're going, what are you doing, how are you lighting the world up. Know yourself is all about your strengths. Why you? How is it that you're going to do this? Know your pause. That's your challenges, the things that slow you down. What's in the way? And know your laws. Those are your core values, the things you have to stick to in order to get there. Because some people will do it anyway, like they'll take it any way they can get it, but you're not like that. You want to do business differently. You have integrity. And so you're going to have to know your laws and be able to articulate them. And your team should be in line with those laws. Talk more about that in just later. Right now, we're going to talk about know your vision. But the last one, know your cause, is a little bit different than the vision because I said the vision was how you're going to light the world up, but the cause is what lights you up. Like we have our own cause. We really like to do mental health for teenagers, specifically teenage boys, because they are probably the most neglected. And because there are plenty of things out there for teenage girls and women and ladies, not that much out there for men, but even men are starting to get more things available to them, but teenage boys not so much. So our cause is teenage boys. But that's not our business. That's not our vision. So I would do therapy for free. I don't always do it for free because people are willing to pay for you to take care of and pour into their teenage boy. But it's just something I adore, but it's just not our business. Our business, how we are going to light up the world, is that we are changing the way mental health is administered and viewed in the workplace because that's one of our biggest stressors. And because it's one of our biggest stressors, we believe that employers should take some of the responsibility. And that's why we built our tool that goes into companies and allows them to do employee engagement surveys, kind of see what's going on with their team. So then the app will suggest, well, hey, how about based on what is going on in your team, you guys need to control the controllable. You guys need the path to prosperity. You guys need to break through to clarity, whatever. There's about 40 or 50 different sessions in there, but you can't get to the sessions until you understand your employees. But before you even understand your employees, you got to know yourself. And before you know yourself, you have to know your vision. And the reason why that's so important is because how the heck are you going to get other people to join you if they can't see your vision? So there's two parts to this. So, how will they join you if they can't see your vision? That's one question I'm asking you. But also, if your vision isn't big enough, like we said that we are changing the way mental health is administered and viewed. That's a pretty big vision. And we're doing it right now by reaching the workplace. That's a pretty big vision. But if our vision was smaller, then our team members may not be able to see themselves in our vision. Now, make no mistake about it, we have hired many people who are not in line with our vision, and we had to let them go. We had to make a shift. We have at times have not been in line with our vision, and we had to call each other out on that, or someone on our team had to call us out on it. But bottom line is, if you get really clear on your vision, then you will be able to tell when somebody on your team is not in line with your vision. You'll be able to tell when you're off of your vision because you're so clear on it. And we have a session, a self-sync session that you can use. Is inside our app, and it's visualize your prosperous life. And in that visualize your prosperous life, you're really beginning to see, I mean, really see in your mind's eye what it looks like, what is happening in a day on a day-to-day basis that makes this vision yours. What are you doing? Because yes, the vision is one thing and you have to be able to see it, but you also need to see what is that your life like? Like, who do you have to be in order to bring this vision to life? There's a certain person that's going to bring this vision to life. And the only way you will get your team to see it is if you see it first. Do you see it? I mean, really? Do you really see what it looks like? What it feels like? When your vision comes to life, when you change those lives, when you disrupt that industry, when you make a name for yourself, when you put that shift in place in the world, when you light the world up, what does the world look like with your light shining on it? Think about that. I said we're changing the way mental health is viewed and administered. What does that look like? It looks like healthier people around this world. It looks like less hurt. It looks like more confidence, more gratitude. Oh, because the amount of ungrateful people, and you don't realize it, but ungrateful people are just people who need mental health. Yeah, I know. It doesn't seem like that, but that is a big part. Now, when we think of mental health, a lot of times we're thinking mental illness, but it's called mental health. So you could be thinking about mental wellness too, but also consider that emotions are in there too. And maybe you're not emotionally well. It doesn't mean you have a chronic illness. That doesn't mean you're schizophrenic, bipolar, or any of those chronic diagnoses. It, when you are hurting and you hurt someone else, it could mean that you just have past trauma in your life. So I'm talking a lot about me, but I'm going to switch it and talk more about you, because there's this one part that I really need you to get. It's something that I am getting, and every day I become more and more clear on it. So I'd like to share it with you. Would that be okay? I know that there are people on your team right now who don't see your vision. So the first step, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to get really clear on that vision. First, just on your own by yourself. Or maybe you have a spiritual advisor, maybe you have an executive coach, maybe you have a therapist yourself. Get really clear on your vision. Now, you can do that with us or you can do that with someone else, but just do that first step. Get really clear on your vision. And then two, I want you to start articulating your vision. I talked yesterday in the last video that we say our vision statement every single time we have a meeting. And I started to see the eyes glaze over, like they just I couldn't get finished with that vision statement fast enough. So I just started to see those eyes glaze over and I realized, oh gosh, these people are not in line with this vision. And that's okay. It's nothing wrong with that. I'm really okay with that honesty. Like, just tell me and go. I'm okay with you leaving. I have no problem, which is what I'm about to get to in this next point. So first is know your vision. Two, articulate it. And three, here comes the hard part. If there are people who are not in line with your vision, let them go. Let them go connect to another vision. Maybe they're supposed to start their own vision and have their own company. You let them. Thank goodness that you guys recognize that so they could go do that. Otherwise you're in the way. So I have a CEO that I work with, and she doesn't really like to fire people. And I like firing people. I mean, part of my job is to get fired. When I think about my job as a therapist, when somebody gets to the top of their mental health game, a lot of times they don't really need me anymore. That is the true sign of an awesome therapist, is that you're not codependent. You're not going to go through therapy forever, especially because I'm building tools like the on demand sessions and the group sessions. And maybe you still come back and we touch base once a month or whatever, but we don't have to clear any more trauma. We did that. Maybe something new happens and we clear that. But I'm saying, I'm giving you the tools, the resources to go out and do this on your own. So you're eventually going to fire me. And I'm actually looking forward to you firing me. It feels good. Well, it could also feel good for you to fire somebody. You could actually feel like you're doing them a favor. As weird as that might sound right now, as confrontational as firing somebody can be, as what it could even feel like maybe you're harming them in some way. But I guarantee you, they know it's time to go. And they know that they could go on to do something else. Now, are they hurt? Maybe. Are they disgruntled or resentful? Absolutely. But what they don't understand is that you understand that they either came into your company for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. You've heard that saying before. So don't get upset when the time has run out. Yes, I know people are emotional, but if you can just remember that they came into your business for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Maybe the reason was to bring some resource that they have. Maybe the reason was for them to bring an idea, be creative, open your thought a little bit more. Maybe it was to close your thought a little bit more like, wow, I can't believe we let this type of person in our organization. They are not a good culture fit. They're not even a culture add. They're actually were a culture subtract. And we don't want that culture subtract. So now we know what to gauge for and say, yes, absolutely not. This is not acceptable. And we once had someone who wasn't inclusive. They were willing to do work with these people, but not these people. And I'm all about having a target market, but I am not about excluding anybody, especially to believe that you can't add any value to their lives and vice versa. So that was just a no no. We realized that we have to measure for that, and we hadn't before. I don't even think we knew we had to measure for that, but now we do. So if somebody says they're not willing to work with this type of person, although we ask our people to specialize, we want everybody in the team on the team to be in their zone of genius. We still don't want you to neglect a certain population. So just saying a reason, a season, a lifetime. So if that reason is to show you what you don't want in your company, that is awesome. Be thankful, be grateful. Don't be upset with that person. Be thankful and be yourself, which we'll talk about next, but not in tomorrow's video. Tomorrow, I'm going to go really deep on the survival, the striver, the survivor, the striver, and the thriver. That is a thought leader conversation that we'll be having on Thought Leader Thursday. So I'll post that if you're watching this video later, you can just go back into the videos. It won't be tomorrow for you, but just go watch the next video. Anyways, let's go to a season. So sometimes people come in for a season. Maybe it is when you're in that survivor mode, and that is the type of person you need in your company at that time. Or maybe you're in striver mode and you need one of those like champions that are going to like do everything, drop everything, work all hours. We've had that in our company before. But eventually we had to let that person go too, because that's just not what we preach. We don't preach working 50 hours a week or anything like that. It's just not our way. We preach to get the maximum out of the small amount of time. Like do everything you can do in the hours that you're at your best. I don't want work from you when you're tired and burnout. I don't want you to work. I don't want that energy in our work. So when you're at your best, come to work. When that subsides, whatever that is for you. Now we do have a minimum amount of hours we'd like you to work, but we're not all about the hard work. That is not what we preach. It's actually what we preach against, but we're not against anything. We're for things, and we are for you being at your best. So reason, a season, short amount of time, a specific amount of time, and then a lifetime. So yes, there are people that will be with you forever. There is somebody in our business that we've been working with since almost like the very beginning. And this relationship is so good. Now, They may not be here a lifetime. We can't judge that. We don't know that. But the communication is so good. When we make mistakes, when they make mistakes, we forgive each other. We have grace. And that is something else. I talked about gratitude, but grace is so needed in business. And it's not emotional to just say, oh, you made a mistake. Your employees, your team members need to know that they can make a mistake and they can come to you with that mistake they made. One of the CEOs we've worked with, he's so negative and so down and so hard on his team members that if they make a mistake, they're not going to come to him. They're going to kind of try to cover it up. They're going to try and pretend like it didn't happen. Maybe they try to blame it on others. But if they knew that they could come and talk to him about that challenge or mistake that they had, then that would foster a much better relationship. And maybe they would stay a lifetime. But I just want to point out to you that there's a cap on the time sometimes. And just know that they came into your company for a reason, a season, or sometimes a lifetime, and embrace all of the time frames, but don't get upset when the time runs out. It's actually a good thing. It's working in your favor and their favor. They get out to do something and be aligned with some vision that is just more in line with what they want to do. And that feels good to know that. So I recommend you join our free culture refresh community if you're not there already. There is a link in the comments that will direct you to our community where you can sign up. It's brand new and we are really enjoying, and you'll get tools and resources. It's really for the leader who wants to do business differently, not that old take. It's a for leaders who want to have an even exchange, some reciprocity, who want to be able to sleep at night. And speaking of sleep, that's another conversation we are going to have in one of these videos. I'm just going to post as many times as I can over the next couple days. And no, that's not true. I'm going to post every day over the next couple of days, not as many times as I can. I didn't speak that clearly. But I'm just so glad that you've been joining me. I really appreciate you. And I have one more little bonus that I want to share with you. When it comes to your vision, you should feel it in your body. Like it even though your cause is what lights you up, you should still feel a vibration in your body when you think about your vision. And if you are thinking about your vision and you don't get that vibration, you might be off somewhere. And if you're thinking about, let's say you have the vision, right? And then you're thinking, oh, we should do this thing to get to our vision, and you don't feel that vibration, then it's probably not in line with your bigger vision. Now, if you're not that in touch with your body and you're not able to feel those vibrations, then I recommend one that you get in our free culture refresh community if you're not already there. Two, I say try our free culture refresh trial because it gives you like 6 different mental health um, sessions and I think another 6 surveys for your team, and they're all free. And by just doing that, you'll get such great insight into your team, into yourself, and some healing at the same time. How great would it be if your team could see your vision at the same time getting to know themselves, clearing some of those pauses, those things that are in their way, and they do it in just as little as 30 days. Wow. Maybe you felt that. Did you feel that in your body? Like just the thought of that feels so good. Well, I'm going to go now and I'm going to leave you to it. I know you have work to do, and so do I. But I am so glad we got a chance to hang out this morning. And for some of it's afternoon. But I am so glad you're here. And I encourage you to return tomorrow. We're going to do Thought Leader Thursday. And you're going to love this topic because we're talking about when you are in survivor mode, striver mode, or thriver mode, what that means and how you need to communicate with your team based on what phase you're in. And what your team is going through if they're in one of those phases, but also what your company is going through. So we're going to be going back and forth, allowing you to see that we are the thought leader on this subject, but allowing you to see how this plays out in your company. And let's continue the conversation. We are the thought leaders, but we're not saying that we know it all. We're surveying you. So that's one of the things that I'll ask at the end of our conversation is that you take our free survey so we can get to know you a little better and we'll know what exactly you need and we'll deliver it to you. Now, how does that sound? Does that sound good or good? I know, right? Well, good. I'm so glad you're here.